Have we figured out how to explain deja vu? How do chameleons do that thing they do? Do you really need to wash your blue jeans? Yeah, you do, but how often? Hey, my name's Mike Simpson. I've got a podcast about curiosities. It's called I've Got Questions. We go through my list of random stuff and yours. Please participate. Send me your questions. I'll find someone to answer them. We've talked about our true crime obsession, how grocery stores are tricking us, super secret flight attendant stuff. I've Got Questions. New episodes Thursdays on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, what's up, everyone? You find yourselves trying to get your Craig Mack on and put some brand new flavor in your ear? Well, funny you should mention that because we have a brand new show that you should check out. It is called Pod Sauce. It is your podcast discovery show.
Everyone's always looking for a podcast recommendation. We got lots of them for you, from true crime to pop culture. And you can join us each week as we dish on all of our favorite podcasts out there. So make sure you download the Odyssey app and search Pod Sauce or head on over to podsauce.com.
We got you covered, guys.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. A YouTuber fed all of Metallica's lyrics into an AI bot and asked it to write the lyrics to a new Metallica song. Oh, this is awesome when they do that with the computers.
Yeah, I think this is the same dude that did the one with AC/DC. Remember that guy that put out that AC/DC song that was written by artificial intelligence, and it was awesome?
Yeah.
So I think it's the same dude now. He decided to grab all the Metallica lyrics, put them into an AI generator, and they wrote their own lyrics for Metallica.
And like the AC/DC song, these words don't exactly make sense, but, it is, thematically inspired by Metallica. And the song is called Deliverance Rides. And the dude even put it to music.
Bound by leather steeds they ride. Guard yourself the world and time. Dying the one who waits for you. But there's no longer cares. Understood, I'm insane. Yes, you'll never know. Never mean to let it be. Obey your rights. Death, deliverance rights. Yeah, yo.
yeah, yo.
I'll download it.
Yeah. Death, Deliverance Rides. Okay.
Sure, someone says, I'm 90% sure that's how they wrote Death Magnetic.
That's awesome.
That just shows how much of a non-lyric guy I am, because song made sense to me. Yeah. It kicked ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I laughed. I've always had fights with guys like you, Steve. It's like, I don't even know what he's saying. It doesn't matter what he's saying. It's like, well, for me, it kind of does. And
feeling the energy.
And, I have to turn it way up to be able to understand that I couldn't understand him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve, how anti-robot you are. I'm surprised that you enjoy this.
This is the only time where robots are okay.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah,
they can write Metallica songs. I just don't want them to be walking around amongst us.
Attention, Skynet.
All right.
This is how you get past Steve. Just sing to him as you're about to basically take him out of existence.
Oh, there you go.
Create a cool, kick-ass Metallica song, and maybe I'll like a robot.
Maybe you will, but they're trying to take over the world, so now they know your flaw.
Yes.
Yeah, so... Man.
I love that he recorded it. The guy did a great job, though, just making it sound like a Metallica song.
See, I love that. I love that he went full boat. He went full boat with it and said, not only am I going to have the computer do it, but we're going to throw it out there. And I don't know if there's it would be great if they put it on their album. I would think it would be great if
it would be great if they put it on their album.
If Metallica's next album, they just said, we're going to take this
sneak it in there and don't even say anything?
Yeah, because I don't think anybody... I want to know how many people notice.
Dude, it makes me think of, I don't know if, I think you would like the movie Some Kind of Monster, because it's really a movie about therapy amongst a group of guys that were not getting along.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a documentary about Metallica trying to record their Some Kind of Monster record, and it just shows just how fractured their relationship was. But one of the more ridiculous moments, and it was the moment where they decided, you know what, maybe we don't need this therapist anymore, because he kind of forced himself into the band in a weird way.
Oh, that's not good.
It was very weird. Like, the guy was like getting a little too connected with the band. I think he felt cool being with Metallica. So they're working on the album and they're working on lyrics for the songs. And they're all coming up with different ideas. And then the therapist starts writing down lyric ideas and they're all looking at him like, who the F are you? Do you think you're in Metallica? And that was like almost the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It was super weird.
That's very, very weird.
So, I mean, if they're willing to entertain a therapist's lyrics ideas, maybe they should have spent some moments with some AI. And if it could sound that aggressive.
Yeah, why not?
They could call it like the robots have taken over record.
The robots have taken over. I would just love to do that test to see if, like you, Steve, if you weren't paying attention, if anybody would even know that these lyrics don't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like if we said, hey, we just found a demo of the new Metallica stuff and played that, I wonder if anyone would have been like, man, that song rips. But what the F is James Hetfield singing about?
I'm telling you, somebody, I don't know, we've got to send a memo to this guy. He needs to do a Red Hot Chili Peppers version because I don't think that will sound any different.
I actually think it'll make sense.
Wouldn't that be wild if, in fact, the computer is more sensical than actually any Chili song? That would be so funny.
We're like, oh, whoa, okay, zing-a-zang, zang actually means something.
Yeah. Oh, man. I that's what I want to hear because a lot of times I will listen to the Chili Peppers and go, okay, I'm really paying attention. I actually can understand what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying sometimes. And so...
There are moments where Anthony Kiedis just is like, I don't have the time or energy to write another lyric. I'm just going to make sounds.
Yeah.
75% of the time.
Yeah. But it works. I mean, dude, if James Hetfield came out and Metallica wrote an aggressive song and they were just singing My Wife's Grocery List, and I would probably be fine with it. As long as he's just delivering it with that
oh, dude,
that gusto like it was.
Print out the lyrics to Jump by Van Halen. They're saying absolutely nothing. Hey, you, who's that? Yeah, you. I mean, Jump.
Just having a conversation.
I mean,
man.
seriously, I remember listening going, is he saying anything?
And I wonder, though, a lot of that, I wonder how improv that was. Like, because it doesn't seem like he actually got a pen and paper and wrote, hey, you, who said that?
Yeah. I mean,
baby, how you been? I don't know. Maybe he did, but I almost feel like he was just kind of riffing. And he was like, okay, that sounds cool.
Well, and he would do that a lot. David Lee Roth would do that a lot in songs. You know what I mean? He'd just start riffing, like having a conversation. Hot for Teacher. He's like, hey, have you seen The Teacher? Yeah. I mean, it was just like he's right. So it's a thing that David Lee Roth did.
And Yankee Rose, which is one of my favorite David Lee Roth solo songs, the entire start of the song is him having a conversation with Steve Vai on guitar. So Steve Vai's talking to him with his guitar. He's like,
that's cool.
Wah. And he's like, hey, how's it going? It's like drugs.
David Lee Roth.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
We all remember that one professor, the one everyone on campus had to take no matter what subject they taught because how much fun their class was. What if we told you there was a streaming service that had all those professors? One Day University has every must-have professor from the best colleges all across the country. One Day University, the most fun talks from the most fun professors. Available live and on demand. No homework, just the most fun you'll have while learning. Get a special offer at onedayu.com/Odyssey.
The Russian invasion.
The heroic Ukrainian resistance.
It's the biggest land war in Europe since World War II.
And the War in Ukraine Daily brings it all to you.
From Moscow to Washington.
From Kyiv to Mariupol.
The War in Ukraine Daily talks to newsmakers around the world.
And to the everyday Ukrainians whose very existence is threatened.
You hear the heartbreaking stories of those caught in the war.
But also hear about the acts of bravery as history is being made.
I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Charles Feldman, inviting you to join us.
The War in Ukraine Daily on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. All right, they officially did a survey because it happens. At some point in your life, you turn into your father. And so they thought, all right, dudes, we're going to find out when that is. When do you turn into your dad?
Oh, boy.
And, well, it's too late for you, Steve.
Why is that?
You're already your dad.
Oh, thanks.
Because it's an age. It's an age threshold. So the average age that you start turning into your father, guys, is 37 years old. Yep, that's it. And this is more than 2/3 of men say they feel more like their father every single year. We've got the 10 signs, the top 10 signs, and you can see how many apply to you.
Grunting when you eat.
Well, grunting is in here.
That's so much. My wife gives me a hard time. She's like, you sound like your father. I'm like,
grunting is a big part of one of the things that happen, and this happens to me. Grunting when you get up off the couch, off the chair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the old dad groan.
For me, it's like if I'm down on the ground playing with Tatum, and like I'm like, if I'm on my knees, I don't know about you guys. After a while, my legs fall asleep, so I'm like kind of like forcing I gotta like grab like the coffee table, prop myself up, and she's just like, you are completely acting like your father the last time he came. I'm like, I'm not cursing, so I feel like I'm okay.
Yeah, you're doing. But you and Rev, you guys are the number ones. Okay,
What?
the number one thing on the list is totally you two.
Oh,
Sexy
boy.
bald men?
Yes.
Sexy bald men is what turns you into your father. Yes,
Nice.
It's number one on the list.
Oh, perfect.
No, you two geniuses. When you start taking grilling very seriously, you become your father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I am all about grilling now on that Traeger.
I feel like Rev is definitely taking it more serious. I don't know if I'm really taking it
You went
very
out and
serious.
purchased the damn thing. Doesn't that mean something?
Yeah, but that was more of like it was a really good deal. So that was for me. It was like, okay, I got a really good deal on it, and it's a lot less maintenance than doing a charcoal grill.
But Steve, we also joined a Facebook group. We have a
Yeah.
very specific grilling Facebook chat or text chat between you, me, and Danny.
Yeah, we have a group chat that's just called Traeger Buddies.
Yeah.
So it's your home group, just the three of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
That you needed a special name for it in case you forgot the other two people in the group.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That way I know when I get the text to read it.
And some little meat emojis on it, too. It's really cute.
Oh, that's just fantastic. Well, congratulations, fathers. I never did the grilling thing. That's something that just went over like that. I don't even at my advanced age. I have no desire to grill. Like there's no time if I retired or whatever. My wife keeps hoping that won't you want to cook someday? Won't you want to get? And I go no. There's nothing in me that says I want to start cooking.
Huh. It's fun
Or
though.
grilling.
I like it just because it's like I also feel like I'm chipping in a little bit in the house. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can see that.
Because
Totally.
I'm not cooking a meal for us in the kitchen, not because of me saying no. It's my wife won't let it happen because I'm not very good at cooking. But with grilling, I could do that. So
Which
she's
is
okay
so
with
bizarre,
that.
isn't it? Because I mean,
It's super easy compared
Yeah.
to like I'm throwing corn and some vegetables on a grill and just flipping it every once in a while,
Yeah.
as opposed to actually like preparing it and you know what I mean.
How about this? Number 2 on the list that says you've turned into your father is you fix things instead of just replacing them. God, I don't do that. I go out and buy a new one. I am really not my dad.
I'm turning into my father.
Yeah. Well, you're a homeowner now.
Right. But like any little thing, like, screws loose on a chair, I go in and fix it.
What
like
if there's
little
a screws
things.
loose with a guy you work with on the show? Is there anything you can do about that?
There is no screwdriver that can fix me.
Vicky, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know about your brother so much, but I feel like, you are definitely like you are the handy person. You are so like domestic. You're ready to rock.
No, my brother wasn't that way until he got a job where he had to work with his hands, and now he kind of tries to take over when I'm around. He's like, no, I got this.
See, I've always been a klutz.
Just like, all right.
Yeah, I never could fix anything. In fact, I broke stuff, and my dad was just like, you are just utterly useless when it comes to doing anything around the house. So it's like, yeah.
So that hasn't happened to you
So
yet.
that hasn't
And you're
made me a
pushing
dad.
60.
Yeah.
Still not a dad.
Number 3 is me, though.
Uh-oh.
Number 3 is me, and don't know if it's happened to you, too. I think Steve started, and I think Steve is a late bloomer in this one. I think ever since Tatum came along, you start telling dad jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long you've been doing that, Steve, but I've been doing it forever.
Well, I mean, dad jokes are just really bad, cheesy jokes, right?
That's what.
Yeah.
But those are the jokes
I've been
that
doing
the
that
average
since
dad
my
calls.
teenage years.
Yeah.
Totally.
I always thought your jokes were better than dad jokes. I mean, really,
Well, that's
nice.
debatable, but I appreciate
they
it.
had it.
Yeah.
You know what? They had an edge to them. You know what I mean? How about this? You start telling your kids to ask their mother.
Oh, I've already been doing that to Tatum.
Oh, with Tatum? Tatum was, yeah.
She's like, bah. I'm like, ask your mother about it.
Joey D's, did I ever do that? Did I ever send you to your mother whenever you ask me questions?
No, it was definitely the other way around.
Yeah, in our relationship, it's funny as we talk about the idea of how you identify and whatever. It's a very complex society now because not everybody's one size fits all. My wife is more of the dude in the relationship, and I'm more of the woman in the relationship. And so that's right. She'd always send the kids to talk to me about anything. And yeah, that's right. So actually, my wife has become her father. Is really what's going on. How about falling asleep on the couch watching sports?
Well, I did it last night watching just regular television.
Me too.
What is this sports thing you speak of? I don't remember this.
Yeah, back in the old days.
Does Ultimate Tag count?
Yeah.
I believe it does, yes.
Currently it does. If I'm watching the marble races, I think, yeah.
Marbular One.
That or, wow.
I fall asleep watching particular shows, so that's happening. So I know that, and I remember my dad would do that too. We'd watch a show, and and then it's when back when we only had one television, back in the old days, and you had to share your TV, I would flick the channel to the show that I wanted to because I would just wait. I'd be like, all right, I can catch half the show that I want because I know he's going to fall asleep, but he always knew. He could always tell when Batman was on because it was too much, there's too many pows and bangs, and it's
too loud.
He's like, that's not my Western where they're all just cozying up for a sarsaparilla. Take that show off.
Dude, my dad, he didn't really watch sports. Like, he would begrudgingly watch hockey and force himself to fall asleep, I think. So it wasn't really, he wasn't that guy. But whatever show he was watching sucked in my eyes. So, like, Star Trek, or he watched Doctor Who. He watched all the shows you like.
Oh, your dad's a classic.
Which is part of why I think I hate all those shows. Because it's like, but I would just sit there and just practically stare at him uncomfortably to watch and see if he would fall asleep and just wait for the moment those eyes got heavy. I'm like, come on, fall asleep so I could get the remote control.
Yeah.
But man, the minute you would grab that remote control, because he'd have it on his recliner, his lazy boy, and I'd grab it and he'd wake up. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, crap. What are you doing? And then I swear he started doing this on purpose. He put it on like his lap.
Oh.
So that way you didn't want to I'm not really going to grab it. So now I'm just kind of screwed.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good maneuver.
Right. Or if it was on his body, like you're just like, oh man, like it's too close to his junk. Like I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just stuck watching Doctor Who.
He knew it was up. He was like, oh yeah, you want to know what this? Oh,
I feel like if you fall asleep, like, you know what? Just be okay with it. Like, let your kid take the remote control and watch what he wants to watch.
Some of those old Doctor Who's are tough to watch. I feel bad.
They're so bad.
They sucked.
They're so bad.
If you don't like the show and you had to sit through that, that's hard. Yeah.
See, my dad was with like Andy Griffith and all those black and white shows. I couldn't handle any.
Oh yeah, dude.
Nah, that's stuck in my brain.
My dad watched that crap too.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, come on. It was Opie. Little Ronnie Howard fishing by the creek.
So boring.
Stupid.
So epically boring.
You didn't find at least Barney Fife to be the only entertainment on that show. He was the only guy.
I wasn't even willing to watch it. Like, I would just stare at it and force myself not to pay attention.
I'm going to stare at it and not pay any attention.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's like rebellion.
I'm not going to say those shows were great. I mean, for the time period, I'm sure everybody liked them.
Because that's all you had.
Yeah,
is anyone on this list that you create, like you have your own spot on the couch or or like your own chair? Because that's, to me, is like, if I ever get myself like a lazy boy,
I don't know,
and I never let anyone else sit on it, then I've truly become my father.
That's not on this survey, but it might be the survey when you're turning into Sheldon. That might be that survey.
Dude, that's my dad, though. Like, I mean, anyone would sit anywhere near his spot, he would call them out on it. It wasn't even like he would give you a look. He would just out and out and say, you're in my spot, get out.
Yeah, territorially, I think everybody had to warn visitors in the house.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't
that's
want
my
him,
dad's chair.
I liked watching my dad yell at my friends.
Oh, I didn't want. No, he would be mad at me, so I had to really be sure to tell my friends, you can't sit in that chair. It's my dad's chair.
My father-in-law gifted me his old recliner that has like the full massage, like get out and everything with that. Oh, that is my spot. I'm so happy. I mean, it's in the man cave right now, but that is absolutely 100% my chair.
So what if you're having a party and a group of people come over and someone just decides to post up and sit in that chair? Would you kick them out?
Depending on my level of intoxication, yes. No matter what, I'm kicking them out, but it depends on whether or not I'm going to yell at them or politely ask.
And it's very old school. I'm sure this is somehow descended from the old king's throne. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the king of your castle. All a guy has, at least growing up in my day and probably your day as well, Steve, because we didn't have big. I mean, the houses are bigger on average for people, but back then we lived in a very small house. That was the only thing that my dad had because the rest of the house was either for his wife or his kids. You know, my mom or that's it. So he had the chair. That was the only thing he'd get to have. He's lucky enough he built his own tool shed because we didn't have a garage because it was just carport. So my dad only had the chair. And so I think a lot of fathers are like that. It's like, this is my throne.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so here you are going, bringing the kids from the neighborhood. Come on, defile my father's throne. Do it.
So it's like you'd rather risk waking up your dad than walking up to the TV and changing the channel? Well, with the old cable boxes, it was like kind of a pain. Like, if you're just going to sit there and just keep flipping and flipping. If I knew what I was going to watch, that is a good call.
Yeah, you don't understand. It's Steve was one of those fancy households.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys had the clicker. We didn't get to have that for the longest time.
Well, I mean, my super young ages, like 6 to 10 years old, I was the remote control. I would just have to sit by the TV.
How cool is that?
And Dad would say, "Change the channel."
Yeah.
And I'd turn the knob, turn it up, turn up the volume. I'd finally sit back on the couch, and then, of course, something happens. He wants me to change the channel. And I'm like, F it. I'm just going to sit here right in front of the TV.
And that was a great position.
Your spot.
You were everybody had the remote control of the family, which was one of the children.
The youngest son.
Yeah. Oh, man. But I used to use that as a thing like I was his buddy. I figured maybe he'll let me watch 10 minutes of Lost in Space if, in fact, I get him his beverages and do whatever. I did hey, look, you know what? I did what I could with the little power that I had. I would say, Dad, look, I just want to see what's on next week. Can I watch it? He goes, all right, well, they're going to commercials. Quickly go over to your station. That was the thing. When the commercial was on, could I flip to my station to see what was going on?
I'd be too scared that I wouldn't get back in time, though.
Yeah, well, he would, don't worry about that. He would yell. He would know. He had a timer in his head.
Yeah.
And now how long these commercial breaks are? Turn it back. Oh, yeah. But then the funny thing is then I saw the power I had. Because it's like, I don't have to turn it back because you'd have to get off the chair if you really. And so when he would lean forward and just kick the recliner part in, like the recliner has 3 positions. When he would go from the lying position to the relaxing position, that was the first wave of, if I have to get up out of this chair. And so the battles between, would I change the channel back in time or not? Those are the fun days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. How long is a bankruptcy going to affect my credit rating?
Of course, most of the time, by the time we're talking about filing a bankruptcy, the credit has already taken a huge hit. Chapter 7 is going to affect it more negatively than Chapter 13. Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years from the time you file. It usually takes 7 or 8 years for your credit scores to get back into the normal range in a Chapter 7 case. However, your credit will start to recover even in Chapter 7 after about a year. You'll be able to get credit again right away, usually before your case is even over. Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7 years and usually takes about 3.5 years for your credit to get back in the normal range. So Chapter 13 will mean your credit gets better much more rapidly.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.